We are going to take some time and talk about an organization that understands that helping the community in a big way and having some fun doing it and entertaining people are all things that can happen at the same time. We're going to speak with our friend Greg Chastain, who is founder of Voices of Hope. Greg, as always, it's great having you on. Thanks for coming back.
It's always great to be with you, too, and thanks for all your support and having us back.
Well, you have a very cool event coming up, which we are going to talk about, but I wonder if we could start with having you explain a little bit about Voices of Hope. If someone says to you, hey, Greg, what is Voices of Hope? What do you tell them?
Well, here's my elevator speech.
Yeah.
We are a small nonprofit group that raises funds for cancer research through the arts. We have 2 main stage shows a year. We have some smaller shows. We have the summer youth program now, which just did Legally Blonde Junior, and we have 1 golf tournament. But we are 95% the arts. We're all volunteers, and it's just a wonderful thing. I started this in 2009 after I lost my mom to pancreatic cancer. Asked a few friends to do a one-night fundraiser, and here we are 16 years later, and we just donated our millionth dollar to cancer research. So it's a fun way to give back to the community for those of us who can't ride bikes or run marathons.
Right.
Use the arts to give back.
I was going to say, I love the idea of Voices of Hope, and I love talking to you about it for the very reason that you just brought up, which is, there are a lot of charity events, and, God love them for what they do, but, not all of us are runners or even walkers for that matter. All of us like to be entertained, so I don't know. I love the model. Can you go a little bit deeper? I mean, obviously, you talked about the fact that your mom has a lot to do with it, but how did the seed for Voices of Hope come to be, and how was the genesis of when he got rolling?
Well, I've always been involved in theater, and that was basically because my mom always was a supporter of me singing and doing the arts. Growing up in a small town in Indiana, we all played sports. We all did that, but I also loved singing and being a part of the high school plays and musicals, and she was a huge supporter of that, and came out here to see me in other shows when I moved out to Boston. So I couldn't think of a better way to give back than using the talent. She always told me that I had to give back to the people who tried to help her live her best life at the end of her life.
Yeah.
And that was, I was doing theater anyway here, and I decided I just want to do a one-night fundraiser. And it popped into my head. And I was doing a show at the time that my mom passed also. I was doing Aida at Arlington Friends of the Drama, and I had to leave that show. And then when she passed and I came back, there was 1 weekend left, and they invited me back in to do 1 weekend with them. And that sort of stayed in my mind as well, and talked to them. And that's kind of where it came out of. It's just my love of the arts, but really my mom's support of that love.
We're talking with Greg Chastain, who's founder of Voices of Hope, been doing their thing since 2009. Hitting that $1 million mark. Holy cow. I think last we spoke, you were just about there, like maybe $34 away from hitting it. But that's amazing. And to think that when you started, it was just a small group of folks. And did you ever think it was going to make such an impact?
No, we really didn't. It really was supposed to be a one-night thing. We raised $13,000 that night in a small little theater in Winchester. And we're like, that's great. We did it.
Yeah.
Let's move on. And then another organization saw what we did and said, hey, we'd like you to come do that for us. So we said, all right, we'll do it for you. And then the next year we're like, well, let's continue this. And here we are. But we never thought we would get to this $1 million mark. It was an amazing achievement, especially since everybody's a volunteer and does this on the side.
Right.
And work all day and then go to the theater at night and put in a few hours a night, 3 or 4 nights a week. And for the most part, 90% of the people that have come along have been with us for 15, 16 years. They've stayed, and we're just a huge family. We got through COVID together. We sustained and fought through, made some videos. We learned how to do some really fun things with that during COVID, since theater was shut down, and we pushed through and finally made that millionth dollar.
Greg Chastain is founder of Voices of Hope. You brought up the people that make up Voices of Hope, so I want to ask you about that. I mean, I know you get people from all walks of life, and I'm always interested to find out, what people do when they're not putting on a show. Can you talk about the various people who come together to make this awesome thing called Voices of Hope?
Yeah, it's really a myriad of your neighbors. It's we have policemen, we have firemen, we have nurses, we have doctors, we have teachers, we have stay-at-home moms, stay-at-home dads. people that work down at the deli at the Donna's Donuts, and
Nice.
it's really anybody can come join us. We're not a theater group, so we do hold auditions to see what your vocal range is. But if you're here for the mission and that this is what you want to do, you're in the family. And you don't have to perform. You don't have to sing. We have people who are carpenters, painters, set designers. We have stage managers who do everything. We have our directors and music directors. And they allow me to sweep the floor since I'm not allowed to build anything. But we have it's like a real theatrical production because it is a real theatrical production. It's all volunteers. So everything that goes into a theater show, you can come down and do that. We have seamstresses, everything. We build costumes. So they come from all walks of life and they do all kinds of jobs within the group itself. It's really a big family, and we love each other, and we have a great time doing it.
We're speaking about Voices of Hope with the founder of Voices of Hope, Greg Chastain. Big event coming up, which we're going to talk about. I want to go back just for a second, though, to have you talk more about the scope of the good that Voices of Hope does. I mean, you have fun doing it, obviously. It's a lot of fun. The public obviously gets a lot out of it. But you support something very important, which is cancer research and treatment. And I know since way back when that the Termeer Center for Targeted Therapies, Mass General, has been a beneficiary of the money that you raise. Can you talk about why them and what some of how they use that money? Yeah,
for the first couple of years, we were with Dana-Farber, and then the Termeer Center came to us as they were breaking ground for this immunotherapy new prototype of cancer research that they were doing.
Yep.
And they brought us in, took us to Charlestown to show us the labs and where the new place was going to be. And we fell in love right away. It's because they are such a caring and wonderful unit of people that do this work. But it's also because they span all cancers. At first, I was kind of selfish doing pancreatic cancer because that's what took my mom. I really was focused on that. Yep. But as people joined and more people came in, realizing there's dozens, sadly, of different types of cancers, and the Termeer Center targets those. They are first in human research. It's immunotherapy. It's an amazing thing to watch these protocols come from nowhere. And within a few years now, we've been with them for 13 years, and they brought 24 drugs to market, wow. FDA market that do amazing work, especially in the breast cancer where they flourished. There's so many great drugs for that disease now. And and they come to our shows, they bring us in, they show us where the money goes. They show us the chairs that they bought to make sure that the patients' families are comfortable. So they're specialized chairs. We also now sponsor 2 nursing grants, research grants, where the nurses are chosen and they go and do research on their own and become research nurses. And we now fund a rideshare program because what they found was people of lesser means, one of the biggest impediments of getting and doing the treatment is transportation. They don't have a car, or they can't afford the parking, or there's no trains out where they go. So now for those people, we fund a rideshare program, and within 50 miles of Boston, if they need an Uber or Lyft or whatever, those funds are provided and they can get to and from. And they also can just take that Uber to the pharmacy and get their medicine or have the pharmacy deliver it. So not only do we fund the research, we fund other ways to help the patients themselves get the best care that they could get.
We're talking with Greg Chastain, founder of Voices of Hope, about all the wonderful things they do, the money they raise for the Termeer Center for Targeted Therapies. I want to get back to the stuff the shows you put on. Obviously, you put on these great performances, but it's a pretty wide scope of ways you entertain the public, like you perform at sporting events, which I think is the coolest. Every time I talk to you, you say, oh, coming up, we're going to play for this team and that team. And how did you get started playing at sporting events? That's a really cool thing.
We started, I believe, it's funny. I can't remember the first one we ever did. I think the first big one I know was Fenway Park. But we started at like Merrimack College hockey, UMass Lowell hockey, because our members went to school there, and they're like, hey, they do the national anthems. Would we be interested in doing that? And we said, sure. And then the Red Sox had open auditions, and so we sent them our tape, and they're like, yeah, come on down, especially for, they're big into the Dana-Farber and the Jimmy Fund, so they thought it was a great way to promote what we were doing. And from there, we made connections with the Celtics. The Patriots. We just did Worcester Woo Sox.
Nice.
Uh, but we are doing our second cancer. I think they call it something catch in the NFL, crucial catch night in the NFL, which
Yep.
is their cancer awareness night. And we did it last year on Monday Night Football, actually, with the Bears. And this year we got invited back, and we'll be there October 6th against the Dolphins for their crucial catch, their cancer awareness
That's
day.
cool.
And then we'll be back with the Celtics for their cancer awareness night. They did their first one last year and invited us there. So it's nice to be recognized in that way. But
Yeah.
what it really is, it's a way to give back to our members who spend so many hours, and it gives them an opportunity to do something that not many people get to do, to stand on the garden floor, to stand at Fenway Park, or to stand at Gillette Stadium and just be on the field in those moments, which are really super incredible. And it's a way to give back to them so they can have those special moments as well, since they do so much work and spend so many hours doing what we love to do.
It is a wide variety of shows you do, in addition to singing at the sporting events, obviously, and you have your gala coming up, which we're about to talk about. But I need to ask, and maybe this is not a fair question to ask, but when you think back on the shows you've done, and I'm not asking you to pick a favorite. I'm asking you to maybe see if you can, have there been moments where you just went, wow, this is fun, or wow, this is cool, or wow, things are really clicking. Any particular shows that stand out or moments?
It's funny you asked that, because we just had what we call circle time. So we have the cast come in for an all-day rehearsal on Saturday, and we sit in a big circle and talk about why we're here, talk about what we've done in the past. It's just a way to get a bonding session done. And one of the things that we asked was like, what is your favorite show you've ever done in your life? And for me, we've done so many great shows, but the one that really stands out for me, that really proved that we were a true family and got along and created something gorgeous, when we did Titanic at the North Shore Music Theater.
Yeah.
That show came from nowhere. It was a show that none of us really knew. And it was suggested, and we said, we'll take this on. And it was probably the most beautiful music I've ever sang.
Yeah.
And what we did was, everybody in the ensemble to the main characters researched their people, so that we went. So if your family was in third class, we researched who was in third class, and you became that family, which was a real family that perished. And it really bonded everybody together. And not only was the music incredible, but that was the experience of learning about the people and becoming those people, and just becoming one big family that was really on that boat together. But I will say, one of my funnest moments and scariest moments was last year when we did the Patriots, and they didn't tell us that they were going to shoot fireworks off, and we said red glare.
Yeah.
And never saw 24 people jump but stay in tune. Ever. Man, like, could you at least tell us you're going to explode something?
Yeah, that might be helpful info. Yeah. Greg Chastain is founder of Voices of Hope. They do wonderful things all year long, and they have big to-dos like their fall gala, Broadway Rock and Pop. It's time for us to talk a little bit about what you got planned for that, please.
Yeah, it's going to be a really high energy show. We did Rock and Reel last year, so it was kind of the same mold as this one, but we left so many songs on the floor last year that we're bringing it back, and we're adding some really strong dance numbers. There's stuff from Hamilton and Come From Away, Smokey Joe's Cafe, and then there's songs like Katy Perry, which is and the Go-Go's, and Huey Lewis from his new musical. So Billy Joel. I never thought I'd be singing Billy Joel on a Broadway stage, but I am, because Moving Out was one of his shows.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot of fun music. It's going to be a big time rock and roll Broadway show. I mean, Rodgers and Hammerstein, Sondheim, all that stuff is great, but we get to let go this time and really just have a lot of fun. So we're really looking forward to presenting the show. Is
it the first time you guys it's at the Collins Center in Andover? Is it the first time you guys have played in that venue?
Yeah, it is. It's really nice, because Andover is where our studio is. So it's nice to stay in our community and get to know the people in our community. There's an Andover Town Day coming up, and we're going to be performing highlights of the show and get to know the local community that we're now involved with. So we're really excited to be there. It's a proscenium stage, which is really weird, because when we first moved to the North Shore, it's in the round. So we had to adjust and learn how to act and sing in the round. And now, since we've been with the North Shore almost a dozen years, going to a proscenium stage,
Yeah, forgive me. Can you explain what that is? Because I'm not entirely sure.
It's just a normal stage. It's
Yeah.
like
Okay. Yeah.
you go to the Boston Opera,
Right.
whatever. It's a stage where everybody faces forward and does the
Gotcha.
show. And they're all around you, so you have to make turns, and there's certain sight lines that you have to make sure you have, and things like that. So it's really funny to have to relearn how to work on a stage that is flat instead of round. But it's a lot of fun, and it's huge. It's a cavernous stage, so we have a ton of space. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to be there.
The show is October 19th at the Collins Center in Andover, Broadway, Rock and Pop. Let's give people ways they can find out more, get tickets, get involved. I know your website is vohboston.org. Is that the best place to send people?
Yep, that's the best way to go. You go to vohboston.org, and when the main page comes up, you click on Get Tickets Here, and it takes you right to our ticket stage, and you can buy them right there. We're also going to have, as always, in front of the house, we're going to have really fun silent auction and some drawing opportunities and things like that. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
You guys have fun. It's kind of your thing when you think about it. I mean, it is.
Yeah, we do. We love being together.
So wrong? No.
Yeah, it's I really think a lot of theater companies kind of fell apart during COVID because it was 2 years of being down. You couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But I think it really bonded us and brought us together. We had Zoom calls. We had family nights on Zoom calls. We did little shows that we put together, that we created in our homes and stitched them together for all of us. We also took those shows and sent them to the Mass General Cancer Center, and they showed them to the patients, and the patients got to listen to some of the stuff we recreated on our little iPhone headphones and things like that. And we just had a lot of fun, and I think that also brought us together as well. And like I said, we've been doing this as our 16th season, and I would say a good chunk of the people have been with us for the most part the whole way, and now their kids are with us. We've got two I think it's two kids in this. Well, I shouldn't call them kids now. They're high school teachers because they graduated college.
Wow.
But they started with us when they were youngsters.
Yeah.
They've gone high school, college, graduation, and now that they've graduated, they came back and have joined us because they're just love being a part of it. And we've got many generations of families in our group now. So we have a really good time.
Broadway Rock and Pop is happening October 19th at the Collins Center in Andover. You can get tickets and find out more through the Voices of Hope website, vohboston.org. Greg Chastain is founder of Voices of Hope. Thank you so much, as always, for what you do. And I got to tell you, it's always a treat to have you on and learn about whatever is the next thing you got going on. So thank you, Greg.
Well, thank you again. Thank you for all your support over the years, George. We really appreciate it.